Imenovanje
The appointment of William Walker as the leader of the verification mission was no accident. This was done at the insistence of the CIA, whose agent he was. It should be remembered that he was the U.S. ambassador in Salvador and that he was in charge of special operations in Nicaragua, such as the supplying of arms and the forming of the death squads. The developments of the late 20th century showed that the Clinton administration used the nationalist and separatist movement and similar movements in the world in order to achieve their interests. Therefore, they wholeheartedly supported such movements, usually by way of sponsored terrorism. This was shown on Kosovo and Metohija, and it is also confirmed by the conclusion of the Committee for Foreign Affairs of the U.S. Congress in 1992, which said activate Kosovo and wherever possible get concessions from Belgrade. In an analysis of a commission of the Republican Senate, it says that the NATO intervention was planned beforehand by the American administration, but it lacked a media event which would, in the eyes of the international community, serve as a political pretext for intervention. There were lies upon lies waiting for a trigger to set events in motion. Official NATO structures were recruited on time, and during Clark's mandate, they established initial contacts with the KLA. This follows from the background briefing in the American Ministry of Defense on the 15th of July 1998. These initial contacts were recognized by NATO in mid-98. They were given covert support from the mid-90s onward by the CIA and the BND. These secret operations were supported by NATO and were known to NATO, as can be seen by in the book Kosovo, the Freedom Fighters, under quotation marks. All this confirms that the KLA, which was initially treated as a terrorist organization from mid-98, due to a decision by the Clinton administration, entered into close links with NATO. Preparations for the NATO aggression were conducted in this partnership together and in parallel with the farcical negotiations in Rambouillet. The turning point was the above-mentioned media event, which was created pursuant to what happened in Račak. According to the tried and tested scenario from Bosnia, in the case of the Merkale market, there was allegedly a massacre in the village of Račak, and the experienced chief of the OESS mission, Walker, called it an unprecedented crime by the Serbian security forces. This was the peak of the preparations carried out in order to create a pretext for the NATO aggression, according to a plan developed previously by the Clinton administration. There was an attempt to describe this event in these terms. here as well. And I showed you a video where you can see the orange uniforms of the verification mission on the hill overlooking Račak when Walker's deputy testified, where you can see what really happened there. And you could see the testimony of their commander over there. I have no time to go into it now on this occasion, but I wish to quote what the military commentator Milosevic said in the book, The Second Kosovo Battle, about the Račak case. He said, the Račak case will enter many textbooks as a brilliantly executed and pure anti-terrorist action carried out by members of the police, but also as one of the most monstrous media deceptions ever seen by the world. We are witnesses to the fact that the events in Račak are daily being manipulated, especially in The Hague, where persistently serious falsification is being perpetrated. It is well known that the sponsors of these events did not want it to be published, that there was no massacre in Račak, but attempts were made throughout to blame the Serbian side.
Mr. Milosevic, the commentator that you just referred to.
Milovan
Drecun, in his book, The Second Battle of Kosovo.
He's from where?
Belgrade.
Belgrade.
Oh, right. Okay. Thanks.
There are facts that show that after the agreement on the presence of the verification mission in October 1998 on Kosovo, until the end of January 1999, over 500 KLA attacks were perpetrated, and in the same period, using the verification mission as a screen, 35 villages inhabited by Serbs and Montenegrins were ethnically cleansed. And in November 1999, 80 terrorist attacks were perpetrated by the KLA on the police and on civilians. As a reward for these and all other crimes they perpetrated, primarily against the Serbs, but also against other non-Albanians and also against Albanians, and for their collaboration during the NATO aggression, the KLA was renamed the Kosovo Protection Corps, and the UN gave it legitimacy, making it possible for them to access funds in Western countries through bilateral channels, including direct military aid. It was understood, however, that they had to disarm immediately. This is only one of many details in a sea of abuses that occurred. And Agim Čeku, a notorious terrorist, was put at the head of this protection force. There were many crimes against Serbs in Kosovo and Metohija committed under his orders. Serbs and Albanians were killed because of their loyalty to the state they lived in, Serbia. The same person fought against the Serbs as an officer in the Croatian army in Croatia, and he was especially prominent because of the crimes he committed against the Serbs during Operations Flash and Storm and in the Medak pocket, where women, after being raped, were doused with gasoline and set on fire. There are certainly data about this, but he's protected. He is an ally in spite of the fact that he is a notorious murderer and terrorist.